I need you to quit school, my father said, not even looking up from his laptop. What? Dad, I'm 15. I can't just drop out. Raven needs specialized tutoring, and Hawks hockey training isn't cheap. Family requires sacrifice. What about my sacrifice? I slammed my textbook shut. What about my future? Your future is helping this family. Decisions made. My dad made me drop out of school to work while his new kids got tutors. Hi, I'm Birch Calloway. Today I'm going to tell you my story. But before I continue, please like, share, and subscribe to hear more stories like this. My parents divorced when I was 7. Dad left Mom for Scarlett, his secretary who was barely 10 years older than me. The cliché stung worse than the abandonment. Within a year, they had twins Raven and Hawk, perfect names for their perfect new family. Mom tried her best, but the cancer diagnosis when I was 12 changed everything. She fought hard for 2 years, but the medical bills destroyed us. When she died, I had nowhere to go but Dad's. It's temporary, he assured me at Mom's funeral, Scarlett hanging on his arm. Just until we figure things out. Temporary became permanent, but I wasn't welcomed into their family. I was hired help who happened to share DNA. Birch, the twins need breakfast, became my morning alarm. Birch, can you do the laundry? Birch, pick up the kids from practice. I was 14, grieving my mother, and suddenly responsible for 6-year-old twins who called me the maid girl until Scarlett half-heartedly corrected them. School became my escape. I threw myself into my studies, maintained a 4.0 GPA, and dreamed of college scholarships. My English teacher, Miss Larkin, saw potential in me. Your essays are exceptional, Birch, she told me. Keep this up and you'll have your pick of universities. But dreams cost money, and Dad made it clear where I ranked. Raven's gifted, he announced at dinner one night. The private school tested her. She needs specialized education. That's $30,000 a year, I said, doing quick math. Worth every penny for my daughter's future, he replied. The words cut deep. My daughter. Singular. Like I didn't exist. What about my future? I asked quietly. Public school is fine for you, Scarlett interjected. You're hardy. You don't need special attention. Hardy. Like I was a weed that could grow anywhere. Things got worse when I turned 15. Dad's business was struggling and suddenly every expense was scrutinized, except for the twins. We need to cut costs, he announced. Birch, you'll need to get a part-time job. I already watched the twins for free. When would I work? You'll figure it out. Maybe cut back on those after-school clubs. Those clubs were my college application's lifeline, but I took a job at a local diner, working evenings and weekends. My grades started slipping from A's to B's. Sleep became a luxury. Then came the meeting that changed everything. I need you to quit school, my father said, not even looking up from his laptop. What? Dad, I'm 15. I can't just drop out. Raven needs specialized tutoring, and Hawks hockey training isn't cheap. Family requires sacrifice. What about my sacrifice? I slammed my textbook shut. What about my future? Your future is helping this family. Decisions made. It's illegal. I have to be in school until I'm 16. Homeschooling is legal. Scarlett will oversee it. We both knew that was a lie. Scarlett wouldn't oversee anything except her wine glass. I tried reasoning with him. Dad, I have a 3.8 GPA. I could get scholarships. And do what? Abandon your family like your mother did? Mom died. She didn't abandon anyone. She left us with bills and burden. You want to be selfish like her? The cruelty took my breath away. I looked at this man who shared my DNA and saw a stranger. I'll call child services, I threatened. Go ahead, he laughed. Tell them you have a roof over your head, food, and a family that needs you. See how fast they care? I did call. The social worker was sympathetic but honest. You're housed, fed, and homeschooling is legal if properly documented. Unless there's abuse? Isn't this abuse? Educational neglect is hard to prove if they file the right paperwork. I'm sorry, honey. The system isn't perfect. So at 15, I officially homeschooled, which meant working full-time at the diner, while Scarlett signed forms claiming she was teaching me. The twins went to their prestigious schools. I served coffee to truckers. Where's schoolgirl? My regular customer Clifford asked one morning. Usually only see you weekends. I'm homeschooling now, I said, the lie bitter on my tongue. At 15? That ain't right. Family needs help. Clifford was a retired teacher turned long-haul trucker. Something in my voice must have caught his attention. You still studying on your own? When I can. What subjects you missing most? Math and science. I can read literature on my own, but advanced algebra needs teaching. He started coming in during slow periods with textbooks. Found these at a yard sale, he'd lie, sliding new books across the counter. Might as well teach someone while I drink coffee. For 6 months, Clifford was my unofficial teacher. Other regulars joined in. Mabel, a retired nurse, taught me biology. Jerome, an accountant, helped with math. The diner became my classroom, and the customers my faculty. Why you helping me? I asked Clifford once. Because someone should, and because you remind me of my daughter. She got out of a bad situation with help from strangers. Time to pay it forward. Meanwhile, at home, the contrast was stark. Raven had 3 tutors. Hawk had private coaches. They ate organic meals while I brought home leftover diner food. Their rooms looked like Pinterest boards. Mine had a broken heater. Birch, Raven needs help with her essay. Dad would say, I'm working 13-hour shifts. When would I help? Make time. Family helps family. But I wasn't family. I was unpaid labor. The worst part was watching the twins absorb this worldview. They'd leave messes for me to clean, saying that's what Birch is for. They'd complain if I was too tired to help with homework after double shifts. They learned early that I existed to serve them, and Dad reinforced it. Why doesn't Birch eat with us? Hawk asked once. She prefers to eat at work, Scarlett lied smoothly. Different people, different standards. The truth was, I wasn't allowed at the family dinner table. I ate standing in the kitchen or took my plate to my room. Family dinners were for real family, and I'd been demoted to staff. One night, I overheard them planning the twins' 8th birthday party. $500 per child is reasonable, Scarlett said. They only turn 8 once. Absolutely, Dad agreed. Nothing but the best for our kids. I thought about my last birthday. They'd forgotten entirely. I'd bought myself a cupcake at the diner with tip money. The breaking point came when I got sick. Bronchitis from the broken heater and exhaustion. I could barely stand but still went to work because we needed my income. You look terrible, my manager Opal said. Go home. Can't afford to. This ain't right, Birch. You're 16 working like you're 30. I collapsed during the lunch rush. Woke up in the hospital with Clifford by my side. Where's my dad? Called him. Said he was busy with the twins' recital. Of course he was. Dr. Yarrow was blunt. You're malnourished, exhausted, and have untreated bronchitis that's turning into pneumonia. This is neglect. I'm fine. No, you're not. I'm calling social services myself. This time, the investigation was different. Hospital records showed medical neglect. My pay stubs showed a 16-year-old working illegal hours. The homeschool records were clearly fraudulent. We've had complaints, the investigator, Miss Dove, told me, from your customers. They've been documenting everything. My diner family had been building a case without telling me. What happens now? You have options. Foster care until you're 18, or emancipation if you can prove self-sufficiency. I've been self-sufficient since I was 15. Then let's make it legal. The confrontation with Dad was ugly. You ungrateful brat, he screamed when served with papers. After everything we've done, what exactly have you done, besides steal my childhood to fund theirs? I gave you a home. You gave me a job, unpaid, while your real kids got everything. They have potential, and I don't? Look at you. Diner trash, just like your mother. Scarlett smirked from the doorway. We always knew you'd amount to nothing. At least you were useful for a while. Useful? I repeated. That's all I ever was to you. What did you expect? You're not even his real family anymore. That ended when your pathetic mother died. I looked at these people who'd destroyed my education for their convenience and felt nothing. They were strangers who'd used me and felt justified in it. You'll get nothing from us, Dad threatened. No support, no college help, nothing. I never got anything anyway. The emancipation was granted quickly. At 16, I was legally an adult. The diner family celebrated with a cake that read, "Free at last." Now what? I asked Clifford. Now you catch up. You're smart, Birch. Time to prove it. Opal gave me full-time hours with benefits. The customers crowdfunded a laptop for online schooling. I moved into a tiny apartment above the diner, my first real home since Mom died. The next 2 years were brutal, but beautiful. I worked days, studied nights. The diner crew became my tutors, cheerleaders, and chosen family. When I struggled with calculus, Jerome stayed after his breakfast to teach. When I cried over chemistry, Mabel hugged me and explained molecular bonds using salt shakers. You're not just learning subjects, Clifford said. You're learning that strangers can be kinder than blood. I got my GED at 17, scoring in the top percentile. Started community college online while working. Every small victory was celebrated by my diner family. Meanwhile, Karma visited Dad's house. His business failed completely. Turns out, when you sacrifice your unpaid labor force, me, you actually have to pay for help. The twins' expensive schools drained savings. Scarlett's spending didn't adjust to new realities. We need to downsize became, we need to sell the house became, we're moving to a 2-bedroom apartment. The twins, spoiled by excess, didn't handle poverty well. Raven's giftedness disappeared without expensive tutors. Hawk's hockey dreams ended when equipment became unaffordable. This is your fault, Scarlett blamed Dad. If you'd kept that girl working, she was my daughter. Now you remember? I heard through the gossip network. Too late. They tried calling me once, asking for money. I laughed and hung up. By 21, I'd earned my bachelor's degree in business through night school. The diner owner, ready to retire, offered to sell me the business. Can't think of better hands, Opal said. The customers pitched in again. Clifford co-signed the loan. Investing in family, he said gruffly. I renamed it Sanctuary Diner and instituted new policies. Any kid working to support their family ate free. Study groups got discounts. We partnered with online schools to provide quiet spaces and Wi-Fi for distance learners. You're losing money feeding these kids, my accountant Jerome warned. I'm investing in futures. Someone invested in mine. The diner thrived. Turns out, creating a community space where struggling kids could find support and decent food attracted families who valued that mission. We expanded, then opened a second location. I hired several teenagers in similar situations to mine, kids working to support families that didn't appreciate them. I made sure they had time to study during slow periods, helped with homework, and never scheduled them during school hours. You don't have to sacrifice your education, I told each one. Not on my watch. One girl, Aspen, reminded me painfully of myself, 16, working to support younger siblings while her mom spent money on everything but necessities. I watched her studying between orders and saw my own desperate scramble for education. How are your grades? I asked one evening. Dropping, she admitted. Mom says grades don't matter since I'm just going to work anyway. Your mom's wrong. Let me adjust your schedule. Education comes first here. I was 25 when Dad walked in, older, grayer, diminished. He sat at the counter like any customer. Birch. Mr. Calloway, what can I get you? You know who I am. A customer? Coffee? I'm your father. No, fathers don't sacrifice one child for others. Fathers don't steal educations. Fathers show up when their children are hospitalized. I made mistakes. You made choices. Deliberate ones. Every day for years. The twins are adults now. How'd that specialized education work out? His silence was answer enough. I'd heard Raven worked retail. Hawk bounced between dead-end jobs. All that potential, wasted by parents who confused money with love. I need a job, he finally admitted. Scarlett left, took what little we had left. I have nothing. The poetry of it wasn't lost on me. He'd left me with nothing, and now he sat in my diner, begging for scraps. I don't hire people who abandon children, I said simply. But the church down the street runs a soup kitchen. Try there. Birch, please. That's Miss Calloway, and we're done here. Clifford watched him leave. That was your dad? No, that was a man who donated genetic material. You're more father to me than he ever was. Damn right, he said gruffly, wiping his eyes. Last year I opened my 5th location. Each sanctuary diner supports local teens in crisis. We've partnered with schools to identify kids being parentified or educationally neglected. We provide meals, tutoring, and sometimes just a safe space to exist. You've created an empire of kindness, a reporter wrote in a profile piece. I've created what I needed, I corrected, a place where kids matter more than money. The article went viral. Suddenly, everyone knew the story of the girl forced to drop out to support her father's new family. The public response was overwhelming. Donations poured in. Franchising offers arrived daily. Dad saw the article too. He wrote me a letter, pages of justifications, half apologies, and victim blaming. I sent it back unopened with a note. No forwarding address for the past. Scarlett reached out through Facebook. Your success proves we were right. You didn't need formal education. I blocked her after responding. I succeeded despite you, not because of you. And formal education? I have an MBA now, no thanks to either of you. The twins found me too. Raven and Hawk, now 23, working minimum wage and bitter about their fall from grace. You could help us, Raven said, standing in my original diner. We're family. Were we family when I was 15 and exhausted? When I was sick and alone? When I begged to stay in school? We were kids. So was I. The difference is, I was working to fund your childhood while losing mine. That wasn't our fault. No, but your entitlement is. You watched me suffer for years and thought it was normal. Natural selection of the family ecosystem. I was staff. You were royalty. So you won't help? I help kids in crisis every day. You're adults who need to help themselves. They left angry, but I felt nothing. Blood doesn't create obligation when it's been poisoned by exploitation. At 30, I've built everything from nothing. My diners employ over 200 people, many of them kids aging out of foster care or escaping neglectful homes. We've funded over 500 GEDs and counting. Every success story heals the wound of my stolen education a little more. Clifford, now 80, still comes for morning coffee. Mabel teaches nutrition classes to our teen customers. Jerome does free tax prep for our young adult employees. The family I chose me back. Proud of you, kid, Clifford says daily. Knew you were special that first day you explained the symbolism in Gatsby while pouring coffee. You saved me, I tell him. Nah, you saved yourself. We just held the ladder. My father lives in subsidized housing now. I know because one of my employees recognized him at the food bank. She said he looked defeated, carrying his box of charity groceries to a bus stop. Felt kind of bad for him, she told me, until I remembered your story. Then I thought, karma's real patient but thorough. She's right. Every choice creates ripples. He chose favorites, chose greed, chose to sacrifice one child's future for another's present. Those ripples became waves that washed away everything he built on my broken foundation. I chose survival, chose to trust strangers, chose to transform trauma into purpose. Those ripples became sanctuary for hundreds of kids who needed what I needed, someone to see their worth when their families couldn't. Sometimes I dream about the life I might have had. Traditional high school, prom, college dorms. But then I look at what I've built, this network of diners that catches falling kids, and I'm grateful for the path that led here. Everything happens for a reason, people say, and I hate that phrase. There was no reason for a father to destroy his daughter's education, but there was reason in how I responded, purpose in the pain, meaning made from misery. The Calloway family tree has broken branches. Dad broke his when he chose money over me. I broke mine when I chose freedom over servitude. But I planted new trees, groves of them, in every diner, with every kid we help. They say living well is the best revenge. But living with purpose? That's not revenge. That's redemption. Not his. He's beyond that. Mine. Every diploma we fund redeems my stolen education. Every kid we feed redeems my hunger. Every future we protect redeems my abandoned past. So here's my question. If your family treated you like hired help instead of a beloved child, would you disappear completely from their lives? Or would you stay visible enough to let them witness everything they threw away?